take just a minute or so here. I remarked during the time off, I usually go to Wimbledon, the tennis matches. This year, on a whim, I did something. I was sitting around one Sunday night with my gal, Alex, and I started thinking of my old hometown, not Norfolk, Nebraska, where I grew up, but the place I was from about 5 years to 7 or 8 years old. The first house I ever remember. Did you ever get a feeling that you wanted something kind of calling you? Yeah. I thought about it. So Alex said, why don't you go? So I said, okay. Got up and we flew to Omaha, got a car, and drove to Avoca, Iowa, where my father, are you from Iowa? Well, I was born in Corning, Iowa, lived in Red Oak, Florinda, Shenandoah, but then went to Avoca. But that's the first house I ever remember growing up in. So we drove to Avoca, which is about 45 minutes from Omaha, about 1,500 people, I believe. And my gal, Alex, says, well, you won't know where your house is. I drove right to the house. And now, I have not been there, you understand, in 53 years. Didn't tell him I was coming. Walked up to the door, knocked on. I see tricycles, and I know there are kids there. Nice gentleman comes to the door by the name of Morris Berndt, who I believe is an English and German teacher in the elementary schools in Avoca. He came to the door, and I said, hi, I'm Johnny Carson. I used to live here. And he just stood there. He just stood there. And he said, you know, I'd heard that rumor, but I didn't know. And he was a Swedish gentleman. He said, would you like to come into the house? Went in the house, walked around the house, went up to where, I was when I was a kid. Elementary school was about a block away. I used to go catty corner to the elementary school, which I thought was an old school when I was there. But it was built in 1925, and I went there when I was in 1930. The town has not changed. It's a charming, lovely small town, as I said, about 45 minutes from Avoca. We just walked around the town, went to where the old swimming pool used to be. Did you ever do anything like that?
Yes.
It is the strangest feeling. The guy had the swing set exactly where my dad had the swing set.
And did you find everything looked smaller than you thought it was?
The house is a pretty good sized house. He's got 4 youngsters. I talked to 2 of them this morning. I called them, and they slept through the whole visit. And I think one of them was named Andrea and one was Aaron. And I talked to him this morning. I said, I'm sorry you were sleeping. And he just walked around, took us through the house. Yeah, the house seems smaller, although it's a good sized house. Walked around, spent about 2 hours there. It's like going home and touching base somewhere where you've lived, the first thing you remember. It was charming. So I just wanted to thank Mr. Berndt and made the Avoca paper.
Hey.
Now, when you make the Avoca paper...
Look at that, 4 columns.
It's a weekly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a daily newspaper. It's a weekly. It's the Journal Herald, complete news coverage, a weekly newspaper devoted to the best interests of Avoca. And somebody, a gentleman by the name of Marion Weinman, whom I knew was about my age when we lived there, apparently dug up a picture, and they printed it on the front page of the journal. I don't know if you can even see it. Go in a little closer.
Is that you fishing?
Well, can you come in a little closer, Bob? You can tell, believe it or not.
Look at that.
I'm right in the background. One with the black hair. See the little kid sitting there? Folks, this is a 54-year-old picture. What do you want? Isn't that charming?
Right.
Anyway, thank you. It's splendid. It's fun to go back there, and it kind of you touch base from whence you came. What's the first house you remember living in?
In Lowell, Mass. I've gone back to that too.
Yeah.
Lowell? Hey!
But 53 years is a long time to go back.
Yeah.
But the town is charming. So we will take a break. We'll be right back.